Hello there, and you are very welcome to this episode of Chess Please. Today we are going to be playing a longer form game of chess, a 15-minute game with a 10-second increment. And as we're going through, I'm going to explain why, if any good reason there is, I'm making each of the moves I'm outlining. So I hope you're hungry, because I'm about to serve up a storm of chess to you as you're watching. Here we go! It's chess time! We are, as the white pieces, we are playing against a username that is very hard to pronounce. And we're going to go with an e4 opening. This is how I always kind of open up games, and we'll take it from there. When it's e4, e5, which is when they just sort of respond in kind, I have been playing the Vienna. I have been very, very partial to a Vienna gambit, if they allow it, and they do allow it. Let's see if they accept it is another one to look at there. If they do anything but d5, we should be okay. They do d5, do. It's great. That's great. So, seeing as they have done that, I think what we do is we take these broken wings and we learn to fly again. So if they had have taken the pawn that we gave there, they know how to play against the Vienna, which is annoying. It's not so much annoying, it's scary because of all of the things that they can do. So basically when this happens, when they don't really accept the gambit, always throughout the Vienna gambit, you want to be careful of this queen move, which comes with check, and just completely infiltrates. So one way to stop that is f3, early doors. Knight will cover that square. We are still even here, by the way. It's not like disaster or we're busted or anything. But we're not better either, which you can be in the Vienna early doors. Very, very interesting opening. I've only watched a couple of videos on it, so no expert by any stretch, as you'll see in this game. But yeah, the attacking opportunity that you get very early on with the Vienna is sumptuous. It really can make for some explosive games. Along the king side, you open up this file for your rook very early on, which has still happened for us. So yeah, all in all, could be worse. I think we also want to play d4 quite soon. Pretty much next move. I don't think there's anything they can really do. I mean, if they push, we just take the knight, and yeah, anything else I think we just push here. And after that, again, this is, yeah, that's a good move too. But after this, I think we're absolutely fine. Everything's defended at least once. Yeah, I don't see a huge problem here. Ideally, actually, what can we do here? What we can do here is so what I'm worried about is if I go bishop here, then they can go takes, we take back, then they've got queen in here, which is, oh sorry, queen in buoy in there, which is very nasty, very, very nasty stuff, because you think you can block with pawn, but then knight takes, and if you take back, queen takes your rook, and if you don't take, the knight takes your rook, and if you move your rook, then the knight has a discovery. It's a whole mess, which is why I'm concerned. And what I want to do is maybe this. Protects this, that's fine. It's not a great move. Well, I have no idea. Stay tuned for more chess. But I'm so worried about this that essentially what I want to do is this. Um, and yeah, that's this is kind of fine too. Again, how much of a threat is that? We sort of want to get castled, and with that in mind, so again, the threat here being bang, bang, all sorts of woe. Woe is me. Would like to chat. I will accept that chat. He sent me the pin emoji. He's pinned me. That's accurate. I was gonna say Pinathy Chalamet. But yeah, he sent me a nice little. It's just an image of a bishop being pinned. This queen move. Jeez, I don't know if that makes sense. Pinathy Chalamet. His name is Timothy. It's probably better puns out there. I can't find them. What I want to do with this queen move is protect this, unpin this knight, and open up this for a long castle. And once that happens, I think we're in good shape. But other things that can happen are innumerous. Very, very hard to clamp down on. We are okay. That is fine. It's fine, but I'd be honest, I didn't see it coming. Um, but I mean, without that pin, we're gonna take here absolutely. Um, yeah, like we just won't castle long now. That would be ill advised, I think. Um, A because I kind of want to get my I want to get my rook on that b file to cause some havoc. And now that I am less concerned about the queen, like we can still castle long. I wouldn't not castle, or sorry, castle short. Definitely don't castle long. I wouldn't not castle short because of that f pawn. In fact, a lot of the plan revolves around that. So this, I mean, the bishop's going absolutely nowhere anyway. So why not just chip in there? Yeah, I think we're okay. I mean, we're going to castle next move unless something dreadful happens. But now if queen comes in here, pushing does work because knight takes, bishop takes, that all has tempo. So we've sort of navigated that all right. And once we castle, that stops being a problem altogether. We have many different problems, but queen a4 is not one of them. H4 even. Right. What we can look at once we do get castled as well. Part of the beauty of the Vienna gambit is black castles long a lot less frequently than white. White is just generally a more attacking set of pieces to play with. You go first, you have the initiative, so it's better to kind of attack with white. But with black, you generally castle short, and the Vienna places a lot of your pieces on the king side, where they have been castling, so that you can really set up an attack. And I'm finding plans for me is one thing that I'm sort of not great at. So having one ready made in the Vienna, which is just get your pieces on the king side where they're going to castle and wreak havoc, is a good one to kick off with. I think castling here is still fine. If takes, I'm probably going to take with the knight, because that will unlock the rook to defend this bishop, as well as obviously getting that knight out of the pin. It'll take the bishop. It's all kicking off, really. Yeah, castling there did a lot of good for us. And our pieces are very well coordinated, I have to say. And theirs aren't. In terms of next steps, always better to think on your opponent's time than yours. In terms of next steps, okay. So we did say we were going to take with the knight. Yeah, I think that's still the case. Yep, I don't see any reason not to take with the knight. I mean, they have a pretty decent attack going themselves, so this is... It's kind of the reason I like the Vienna. It's just mayhem. It is just like, go, go, go. I'm just going to try and attack you. You try and attack me, both on the king side. See who does it better. It's a lot of fun to play. Okay, bishop takes there, which is fine. I don't... Oh, yeah, that is kind of annoying, actually. Drop a pawn here. Yeah, that stinks. We definitely are going to take here. But you know what? Sometimes you're going to lose pawns. Now, a knight in the back rank is never nice. Nobody likes it. But queen here, which is now a little bit more possible, is possible. As it wasn't as much before. Knight in here is probably the move. There's not really we can do about that. It's one of our doubled pawns. Not a huge amount of action going on here. If it comes to an endgame, that's going to be annoying, but what we might hope for is an attack that happens a little faster than that. Okay, so that is what we have. In terms of the knight's next moves, there, my dear. Back there would be their best place. This is a really nice place for the knight to live. But what I want to start doing is infiltrating. And queen here, as far as I'm aware, doesn't blunder anything massively. And there's no great responses. It does drop another pawn. Mit der Knight. So, okay, it's kind of crunch time here. This is loose. So the question is, do we want to drop yet another pawn there and actually really cause some havoc on that front? I think of taking first. doesn't sit right with me. I want to do this, but I don't know if we have the right to. Because knight in here, the idea being bishop here puts pressure on that. Queen here, here, or here. No, queen can't move there. Yeah, it's a funny one. It is a tricky one. Alternatives would be queen here. I mean, queen's definitely got to move. Let's not lose hope. And I can kind of live with this, but it's not as daring. I feel like knight back here is just it's gonna simmer everything down. Yeah. Knight there. Okay. So they do decide to take. Now, I'll be very careful where we go next because there's a fork on. Basically, you take here, knight goes here, and you get forked. You take here. Then knight goes here, or yeah. That is dastardly. Yeah, I think we might be busted here. I think we might be utterly, butterly busted by Mr. Timothy Chalamet himself. I'm gonna do this. Basically, what it does is it negates that pin. And you might be thinking, oh, well, that's a knight for a rook. That's no good. It's a rook for two knights. So we would still take, and they would have to take back. Rook for two knights is worth your time. Even a rook for two knights and a pawn is kind of worth your time. So that's absolutely fine. I imagine one of the knights will drop back there to defend. I don't see how they could hold on to them otherwise. So we might... All is not lost. That queen move I regret, though. I do wish... I mean... Same things would still have had to happen, but I'd be here. Yeah, that's a better move. Alright. C'est la vie. We'll live and learn. We'll see what the engine says afterwards. They might be like, mate, you shouldn't have even bothered playing in the first place. As it normally does, the engine is a coward and a fraud. That's just my opinion. Okay, well now I am happy to take here. Oh, okay. I think we're okay. There's gonna be some jiggery pokery, but I mean we've an extra piece. Obviously, one of them isn't a rook. Now it's like a sliding door sort of thing. We now have the opportunity to consider queen g4 again. And I think I verily will consider it with all my might. What I am afraid of, Bernie Madoff, is queen here. And I've every right to be. Which now leads me to want to play this. Which I know we've had 2 bites of the cherry at playing queen g4. Just might want to play pawn g4. This knight isn't great. I'll give that to you straight. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that one for you. I mean, yeah, alternatives to that. I mean, queen coming in there is probably going to happen. Queen here doesn't do enough, because if queen comes there, then we can't take the rook because of we would just get a rook for the queen. But what would also happen is we can never move that bishop. It'd be a whole thing, a real kick in the pants. So we also just don't have to g5 also a possibility. Queen here I also like a lot. So again, faced with the choice of playing g4 or d3, we're going to go with d3. Reason being, if the queen does this, then we can take there with check, threaten that. If they move, that isn't unreal either. But basically, we can take there with check. Yeah, we can, can't we? Yeah, no, that is good. I think this was a little bit better, because if they move here, we take here with check, and then we can just drop back if they just do that, or just move the king or something like that. We can drop back to here, or even we'll have this now as an option. Any number of different things could also help. And this bishop's still defended by the rook. What we just did want to happen was rook, queen, battery, bearing down on that single rook. Another benefit of this d3 move is that it does protect this rook, so it frees up the bishop to move a little bit, but we don't want to do that again just yet. That way down the line. And again, that's a lot of moves you'll see are like not necessarily like, I didn't really consider the fact that queen would defend this piece as well, but it's a benefit of it. Like, it might not come to fruition that ends up being a useful part of it, but it might come to fruition that it does. Although that said, yeah, taken here with check seems pretty ace to me. Yeah, take there with check. That coming with check is the only reason I'm playing that, because as it stands now, there's a little bit much to defend here. Do we have... No. when you see positions like this, I'm always thinking of a smothered mate, but none of the factors are there. So, what I like now is probably this. Defends the bishop, defends the knight, attacks the rook if you could even call it that. Does threaten something like this. Now g4 with the pawn is very feisty because there's absolutely nowhere for that rook to go anymore. Rook across here, I could see. That'd be really annoying, actually. Ooh, not that annoying though. I don't think, because that would be check. Have to take there. Then we do that, which would also be check. Then they'd have to come here. And we could do a number of different things. Probably the answer would be to drop back here, but we'd be well up. We'd be well up on material. Or we'd have closed the gap a little. Very fun game. This is, if you can play the Vienna, I would highly, highly recommend it. It is, we're doing, it's like this every day here. It is, wow. It is just chess coming out your ears. But yeah, this is definitely indicative or endemic of the Vienna. Just a fiery tactical game. So yeah, highly recommend it. Whew. So I'm interested. I'll look back at the analysis board. That can be a little stodgy afterwards, so feel free to dip at that stage. Feel free to dip. Oh, hey there. Well now, that is not a bad move at all. Yeah, that is not a bad move at all. The reason it's not a bad move. That was good. That was a really nice move. The reason is, if we move this bishop at all, rook takes there as mate. So moving the bishop, not an option. For now. What we can do, so was just a good move. So it could be the case that we just fully lose material here, which is no fun. So what we need to consider is the following. Clear these lines. Okay, gonna make sure we're level. This is one I like, but the only real response to that would be takes with the rook. Then we take with the rook. And then they would take with either the pawn, probably the queen. I'm tempted just to not even. But I don't see how that would really help. That's a solid move. That is a solid maneuver. Yeah, moving the rook is, or moving the... although... What isn't the worst? The knight back here. threatening the queen. This is all gonna pop off, and oh, I've only got 1 minute left. This is the move I'm gonna make. Yeah, yes. If queen drops all the way back, then again, this comes with check. Actually, that is true. Oh, that's going to get us out of trouble, I think. So now, this comes with check. Oh, I think we're getting away with this one. Oh, I think that's a nice little maneuver. Let's see what we come up with. That's check. Oh, always be checking. Check your checks. And the king has to move here. Rook block is probably the best, actually. King here. That's a fork. It's a royal family fork. It's the whole works. We just got to make sure it's checks all the way. Because if it's not, this remains checkmate. So let's see what they got. That is check, though. So that really limits their options to king here, disaster. Queen here, disaster. Rook there, disaster. Whew. Okay. I think we might just have... Oh, they've resigned there. That was a good game. Were they good sport? They were a good sport. Say good game. Good game. I will say good game. Wow. Okay. That was a lot of fun. All hail the Vienna gambit. Let's go to analysis mode. So analysis mode, I'm going to change our perspective here. I'm going to disappear. I should have warned you if you get separation anxiety. But I want you to see basically what I would go through after a match as well. Look at that. That is wonderful. 96.9 accuracy, 6.9 obviously hilarious number, 96 nice and high number, 71 by my opponent. My opponent was a little bit lower rated than me. I think they're in the 1400s or in the 15. That sounded like a brag. Maybe it was subconsciously. However, let's now go through here. And what you're really looking for is this. This will tell you what each move is and what you could have done. So this is the Vienna. The Vienna basically, by the way, just in case they had accepted it. Did we play it? We did play it. So if they accept, if they take here, what the Vienna is from here on, and this is the accepted kind of purest form of the Vienna, is if you push there, this knight has nowhere to go. So it can't go here because it'll get taken by the knight. Same here. And then here and here is taken by the queen. So it has to go back here. And that is the crux of the matter. Knight has to drop back here. You still want to make sure that you don't give away queen here. So that says queen to go here. I guess so. As I said, don't really know it. But you could do things like this. And once you do that, I mean, you could probably even do this straight away if you're desperate to get that back. But no, that doesn't do the thing of queen in here. So, back to our game, which was this one. Yes. So they played d5, which is how you play it. That's the main line. Now, this we did get in a little trouble here, but we did navigate out of it. So that's our first inaccuracy. And what we wanted to do or needed to do first, and now I can see why. We get this bishop out here, frees us up to castles sooner rather than later, which, as we saw, was a headache a little bit later on. And also pins that knight there. So that doesn't need as much defense. This is less threatening. Not threatening, but less threatening. Okay, so bishop out first there. Future reference. Where do we go? We go here, knight there. So it was to play bishop out there. And actually that threw away the advantage we had. So that's fine. Bishop there is fine. That's a mistake. Okay, I don't know where the old accuracy is coming from. Still, the answer was to play bishop f4. Get your bishop out, get castled. None of that happened, but I think we must be playing pretty well from here on out. So taking there was a mistake, and it kind of did let us off the hook as well. I did not. We would have castled long, but I mean, even if we did castle long, if we castle long, then that becomes a great move because that would bust open the whole position. But we didn't castle long; we hadn't committed to doing so. So this lets us off the hook massively. Black ahead here, very marginally. Like you'll see here, 0.37. A third of a pawn ahead is a good way to conceptualize that. Like, if you're just like a little bit behind, especially at this level, you're not going to get ruthlessly punished most of the time. Once you get up to like 1 and 2-0 down, or the evaluation says that, yeah, you're probably a good bit behind and you need to equalize. But yeah, this sort of marginal stuff, so playable. Okay, we did this, we castled, which was fine. Then they took here, we took with the knight. Okay, bishop taken was best, and that bishop didn't get to move for a long time. Actually, neither of those lads got to move for a long time. So that's that. Bishop takes there, yep, queen takes here, and we dropped the pawn. That's probably why that was no good, because yeah, we dropped the pawn, and that knight was sufficiently defended on f3. Here we had queen looking after it, bishop looking after it, rook looking after it, pawn looking after it. Just because the rook was going to be bearing down the knight, that isn't cause to move. And actually this bishop is only defended once. Yeah, no, that makes sense in retrospect. So move the piece into much more defense and a much more dangerous position. Yeah, that's it. That's a clean enough lesson. Right, so here is where we thought that this might have been best. We ended up playing this. Okay, queen d3 was best. The damage had been done. It was impreventable to lose those two knights. Rook a1 was best. Lovely. Okay, so I was worried about this. Oftentimes you make a small mistake like this. That was the loss of 2 pawns. You can tilt. You can make like a compounding mistake, and then it ends up being the game. And you see here we're 1.6 down, so it's not. We weren't rosy in the garden. I said I thought we were busted. But that wasn't great when they just cashed in. They cashed in too early. They really could have put the squeeze on for the rest of the game if they just kept those 2 knights there, or even not kept the 2 knights there, but yeah, threatened some other stuff. But yeah, no, going for that didn't really do much. So happy to give off one of my rooks for both of their advanced knights. Absolutely fine. And now, yeah, we got into this really tight knot here on the E and F files, which was cool. Again, playing that with check, absolutely essential. And we're completely drawing here. So that's interesting to note. There's no one ahead or behind, so there was ways for each of us to play this and get a draw, get a win. Queen back here was okay. G4, which we did consider, helped too. G5, I thought it was a good move. We did find the right response to it. Didn't get their piece into the game. That would have been tricky to respond to, of course. So yeah, I can see why that's all pretty annoying. That rook move, and I think G5 is a blunder for reasons that we hopefully demonstrate here. Okay, knight there, but yeah, either of the knight moves to threaten the queen. Queen has to move somewhere. Ooh, and they had the counter check themselves. Once they don't find that, this is all pretty. Did we play this? Is this how we play the game? I do not think we played this. Oh, sorry. This is game may have continued. They're resigned at this point. Game may have continued like this. So this is how they should have played. This is just the computer going absolute buck wild now. Yeah, we didn't do any of this. This is where our journey ended. 8 points up again. It just did, the whole thing is collapsed. I probably could have just taken here, gone to an end game, and seen what we could do. But that was a fun game. Really enjoyed that, and hope you did too. That is, yeah, that's how I would think and talk through my games. That one was good. We won that one. A lot down to the fact that they played into the Vienna, regardless of the fact that we didn't play it so accurately. But yeah, hope you enjoyed that. Nice bit of chess for you. All the very best. Thank you very much, and see you soon. Take it easy.